Welcome to Afterlife Message, where we explore incredible stories of second chances, the afterlife, and the mysteries beyond. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and click the bell icon so you never miss a moment of these fascinating journeys. Let us begin the discussion.
All right, buckle up for this one, folks, because we're diving deep today, really deep into a near-death experience that'll make you think twice about everything.
Yeah, this one's pretty intense.
It really is. And what's fascinating to me is, it's not just the typical I saw a light kind of NDE. This is something else entirely.
Definitely pushes the boundaries.
This woman, let's call her Sarah, went through something so intense, it dives into the very nature of existence itself.
Big questions.
Yeah. Huge. We're talking about a journey through a void, concepts unraveling, a terrifying encounter with the possibility of non-existence.
Heavy stuff.
Heavy stuff indeed. But that's why we're here to explore it, not just what happened to Sarah, but what it might reveal about us, about perception, about reality itself. Ready to dive in.
Let's do it.
All right, so picture this. Sarah's undergoing a routine surgery, in and out, no big deal. Right?
Supposed to be.
Exactly. But then things go south, complications. It's not routine anymore.
Happens all the time, unfortunately.
No. Yeah. And in the midst of this, she's given anesthesia, but it doesn't seem to be working properly.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, they give her a second dose, and that's when she starts experiencing these really intense sensations, like a heaviness throughout her body, overwhelming dryness, and then this bone-chilling cold.
Interesting, those sensations, they could be related to physiological changes during a crisis, like oxygen deprivation, drop in blood pressure.
Makes sense.
But the way she described them, there's almost a symbolic quality to it, like her physical being is dissolving.
Yeah, it's almost like her body is giving up on being a body.
You got it.
And it's at that point, as she struggles to breathe, that she feels her connection to reality just snap. And she enters this void. But it's not the typical out-of-body scenario.
Right. No seeing yourself from above.
None of that. It's more like everything she knows, everything around her just ceases to exist. She's left with nothing but this pure blackness and endless emptiness.
Yo.
That's the word for it. Whoa.
Yeah. And the void is common in NDEs, but it's often described as peaceful, even blissful.
Right. The white light, the tunnel.
Yeah. But what's striking about Sarah's account is the isolation. Feeling utterly alone in this vast emptiness.
That's the thing. It's not comforting. It's terrifying.
A different kind of NDE, for sure.
And it's in this void that she encounters something else. A single point of light.
Ah, there it is.
There it is, right. The classic NDE symbol. But Sarah's experience with it is different. She feels it pulling her in, trying to draw her into some kind of tunnel, but she resists.
Resisting the light. That's not typical.
Nope. It's almost like she's defying it, refusing to be absorbed by it.
Interesting, that element of choice, that active resistance that suggests agency even in this disembodied state.
And her resistance actually changes the light. It starts to move toward her, taking on a more defined shape. And that's when she realizes it's not just light, it's a concept, the concept of her mother.
Whoa, hold on. Concepts, like abstract ideas.
Exactly.
That's where things get really interesting. The idea that abstract concepts can manifest in this realm in a perceivable way, that's mind-boggling.
Right. And then it's not just her mother. Other lights appear, each representing a different concept from her last thought before losing consciousness. Her brother, a telephone, a car. It's like her final thought is being deconstructed and displayed before her in this void.
Like her mind is scattering.
Yes. And that's where the whole idea of thoughts as energy or information comes in, right? Because Sarah starts to feel her power waning, like she's losing the energy to hold on to these concepts, and they start to fade away.
It's like the energy of her consciousness is dissipating.
Exactly. And as these concepts fade, she's left with this dwindling pool of information, and the void starts to feel even more terrifying.
Because now it's not just emptiness, it's the threat of non-existence.
The loss of self, that primal fear,
Absolutely. She describes it as the most terrifying experience of her life, comparing it to descriptions of hell. This raw, primal fear of utter nothingness, of being torn apart, scattered into oblivion.
Intense.
It really is a powerful reminder of how fragile our sense of self is, how much our identities are tied to our experiences, relationships, memories.
We are our connections, it seems.
In a way, yeah.
And as she's experiencing this terror, this descent into oblivion, something remarkable happens. She clings to one final thought, a desperate plea, the desire to exist.
The will to be.
Exactly. And that desire, that pure will to be, is what changes everything.
You said she encounters the void again, right?
She does, but her perception of it shifts. She realizes that it's not empty, it's not nothingness. It's actually a dense, compressed field of information.
Like the Akashic records, that kind of concept?
Kind of, but on a universal scale, we're talking about the possibility that what we perceive as emptiness might actually be a sea of information that we're not normally able to access.
Wow, so she's tapped into something beyond our everyday perception.
That's what it seems like.
This is blowing my mind.
Mine too. It's like Sarah's journey is cracking open the door to a whole new understanding of reality.
Can't wait to see what's on the other side of that door.
You and me both. And that's where we'll pick up in part 2, folks.
Yeah.
Stick with us, because things are about to get even more mind-bending.
Yeah, I'm ready when you are. So we left off with Sarah experiencing this profound interconnectedness, this merging with a universal field of information.
Right. And it's not all sunshine and roses. She describes it as incredibly dense, almost painful, like being overloaded with data.
Like sensory overload, but for the mind.
Yeah, exactly. And she realizes that to escape this overwhelming state, she needs to think. But thinking in this context is different. It's not about generating thoughts from within. It's about choosing a specific point in this field of information and focusing on it.
So not creating thoughts, but selecting them from a pre-existing pool.
Yes, precisely. And the sheer volume of information makes it nearly impossible to choose.
It's like trying to pick a single grain of sand from a beach.
A cosmic beach.
Right, exactly, a cosmic beach.
But she has to choose, right? Remaining in this state of information overload is agonizing.
It's like being trapped in a library that's on fire.
Intense.
It is, and she's surrounded by all this knowledge but can't focus on any of it.
And as she grapples with this decision, something incredible happens. She focuses on a single thought. I just want to be something.
Wow, and what happens then?
Suddenly she's back in the hospital room.
Just like that, snapped back into reality.
Well, not exactly. She's not back in her body yet. She's floating above the operating table, observing the scene from above.
The classic out-of-body experience.
Yes, but with a twist, she's still aware of the void, the infinite field of information. It's like she's bridging two realities simultaneously.
She's in both worlds at the same time.
Exactly, and she observes the medical team. They're arguing, panicking, trying to figure out what went wrong.
And she's just watching them.
Watching and listening. They're completely oblivious to the fact that she's right there listening to every word.
That must be so frustrating.
It is. It's what frustrates her the most. She desperately wants to communicate with them to let them know she's still there, but she can't.
This communication barrier comes up a lot in NDE accounts. It's like there's a fundamental disconnect between these two states of being.
A chasm that can't be bridged.
Yeah, like trying to shout across a canyon.
And it's that desire to communicate, to express herself, that seems to draw her back into her physical form.
The will to reconnect with the world.
Exactly. She finds herself back in her body, looking up at the doctor who's now demanding her name.
What a jarring transition that must have been.
From the vastness of the void to the immediacy of the hospital room.
And she remembers everything, right?
She does. She knows the answer to the doctor's question. She knows everything. It's like that connection to the universal field of information is still there. But now she's trapped in this limited physical form.
Like being squeezed back into a tiny box.
And she can't speak. She tries to communicate telepathically, but it's no use. It's like she's forgotten how to use this physical instrument.
Wow, so the experience changed her, even on a physical level.
It seems so.
It really makes you think about the connection between mind and body.
It does, and it takes time for her to relearn how to use that lens.
Yeah.
To reconnect her thoughts with her voice, to regain control over her physical form.
A process of reintegration.
Exactly. But even though she's back, she's still deeply affected by the experience of the void. The terror of non-existence is still fresh in her mind.
The trauma of that experience.
Yes, and she looks at the wall and utters a simple yet profound prayer. God, I haven't died this time, but I will have to die eventually. Is there anything I can do so that my next death is not like that?
A plea for guidance in the face of the ultimate unknown.
And her prayer is answered immediately. A wave of warmth washes over her, emanating from the wall itself.
Like a physical sensation.
Yes, a tangible manifestation of comfort and reassurance, and with that warmth comes a single word, love.
Powerful.
It's as if this word, this concept, contains within it everything she needs to know to feel safe and at peace.
Love, the universal antidote to fear.
And from that point forward, her life takes on a new purpose. She dedicates herself to understanding the meaning of that experience, the significance of that word.
A journey of self-discovery.
And she shares her insights with the world, hoping to help others find peace and understanding in the face of their own mortality.
The ripple effect of a single profound experience.
It makes you wonder, what is the nature of consciousness? What happens to us when we die? And is love truly the key to unlocking the mysteries of existence?
Big questions, the kind that have fascinated humanity for centuries.
And Sarah's experience, well, just one perspective, offers a glimpse into the realm of possibilities, a hint that there's more to reality than meets the eye.
It's like she's opened a door to a whole other dimension of experience.
And in that dimension, love seems to play a central role.
That's certainly a recurring theme in many spiritual traditions.
So what does all of this mean for us here and now? What if we started thinking about love not just as an emotion, but as a fundamental force that connects us all?
A force that transcends time and space, and perhaps even death itself.
That's an incredibly powerful idea, and one that Sarah's story really brings to life.
It's inspiring. It makes you want to go out and spread that love.
It does. And it's a reminder that even though Sarah's NDE was a deeply personal experience, it holds universal truths that we can all learn from.
Truths that can guide us, help us navigate the complexities of life and death.
It's been a fascinating deep dive into Sarah's story, and I hope it sparks some new ideas and questions for you too. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep loving.
And remember, the universe is full of wonders waiting to be discovered.
So we've been talking about this incredible NDE Sarah had, right? Encountering the void, the field of information, and then ultimately this profound sense of love.
Yeah, it's amazing how this experience totally changed her view on life and death, you know?
Before her NDE, she was afraid of death, the unknown, like a lot of us are.
Makes sense.
But afterwards, it's like the fear was just gone, replaced with this feeling of peace.
Acceptance, like she had seen something that changed her whole perspective.
Exactly, and it really makes you think, what if our understanding of death, our emotional response to it, actually influences what we go through?
You're saying like approaching death with love, with understanding, could actually shape our transition.
Yeah, I mean, it's a concept that's found in various spiritual traditions. The idea that our thoughts and emotions have this ripple effect, even beyond our physical existence.
So like our consciousness is this drop of water creating waves that keep going even after it merges back into the ocean.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And Sarah's experience, with all its strangeness, kind of shows us the potential of those waves.
Makes you wonder, what if love isn't just an emotion, but this fundamental force connecting us all, something that goes beyond time, space, even death?
It's a powerful thought, and it aligns with that message Sarah received during her NDE. Love is the answer.
Simple, but profound.
Right. That one word, love, seemed to have everything she needed to know, everything she needed to feel safe.
It's like love is a guiding principle, a source of strength, you know?
And it brings up so many questions for us. If love is this powerful, how can we tap into it more in our everyday lives?
Maybe it starts by realizing love is more than just a fleeting feeling. It's a choice, a way of being.
So we actively cultivate it in our interactions, our thoughts, our actions.
Instead of waiting for it to find us, we make it happen.
Exactly. And maybe, just maybe, by doing that, we create that ripple effect that goes beyond us, contributing to a more loving world.
That's a beautiful idea, and it reminds us that even though Sarah's experience was hers, it holds these universal truths we can all learn from.
Truths that can guide us, help us navigate life, and maybe even death.
And the fact that there's still so much we don't know, so much to explore, is exciting, isn't it?
It really is. It's been a fascinating deep dive into Sarah's story, and I hope it's given you all some things to think about.
Some new perspectives, some new questions, maybe even some new hope.
Absolutely. Until next time, everyone, keep exploring, keep questioning, and most importantly, keep loving.
And remember, the universe is full of wonders, just waiting to be discovered.